Hey everybody, this is Sabrina. Welcome back to my channel. I have another reading journal favorite to share from August. These are all the stamps that I had picked out for these two books. And after this favorites, I'm going to be moving on to September, and that means another quarter of the year is done in my reading journal, which is really exciting. So if you'd like to see the next section of my reading journal, like I did a while back, I'll leave a link up in the eye, but I did a walkthrough January through April. So if you want to see another walkthrough, please let me know. I'd love to share. This reading journal has been so much fun to put together. I absolutely love it. Now, when I was making this page, it was turning into a hot mess. I wanted to make some trees and make something spooky, and then I got out some circles, and you guys, I don't know where I was going with this. It wasn't going the way I wanted. I knew that. So I made let's call it the executive decision to get a piece of paper out of the back and rip it out. And that way I could cover up what I had just stamped. So I just didn't like it. I was trying to do like I said, like a spooky forest, and the red is kind of like the blood, because the book on the left is a horror graphic novel intended for 13 years old and up, I would say. And I was trying to go with that theme, but it just was not working. And I just didn't want to spend more time fussing with it. So I used a spare piece of paper in the back to cover up most of what I stamped. I just didn't like it. And then I stamped trees because I knew I loved that sentiment. And I'm going to make some more clusters that are similar to what I had, but smaller clusters. So I'm using the markup stamp set from Everyday Explorers to be kind of the blood and gore and just the slash marks, because this whole book is gory and horror filled, and it's about children that go missing. And I'll tell you more in a little bit, but I just wanted to recreate kind of that weird, spooky kind of vibe with this book. And so that's what I'm doing with my clusters, with all the slash marks. And then I have the stitch mark, and I also have some skulls, and I'll also find a bat in a little bit. I stamped really, and then this was so crazy, which turned out kind of wonky and not stamped very great, but that's okay. Whatever. It worked for the whole crazy thing, because this book was crazy. The graphic novel was crazy, but good. I also stamped podcast and a microphone a few times on the right-hand side, which, I don't know. They worked, I guess, but you guys, I was just like, I don't know if I like this, but in the end, I think it all worked out well. It's just like sometimes you can't see the end results until you get to the end, right? I also stamped some of these affirmations, and I decided not to use those, so I didn't show you those, but I did pull out some washi tape to cover up a little bit of my stamping because I felt like it was too much. I'm almost making like a tower of stamping, pretty much, for my page on the left-hand side. I got some kind of grid washi to go on the Good Girl Bad Blood book side and trimmed the washi to make it a little bit smaller. It kind of reminded me, of the newspaper and grid and that kind of thing. So I just thought it worked well on the other side. And I think, honestly, my other problem too with this was that I felt like I was leaning towards 4th of July colors. And I'm like, that is not what I'm trying to do. But I just have to get past that, because that's definitely not what I'm trying to do. I have the bats, and I'm so glad I found that in my stash. And the only quote I really could find, because I forgot to take pictures of the quotes, was, "You've got a monster in these woods." So perfect for this book, because that's what it is. It's a monster. Okay, now my thoughts. I was doing research for October Spooky Reads, and I came across this graphic novel. And it is about a small town called Archer's Peak, and children are going missing, like dozens of children, and nobody can figure out what's going on. And then a mysterious woman named Erica Slaughter, who I said is a little unhinged, has mysterious eyes, and is kicking you know what. She is tough as all tough can be, and I absolutely loved her character. I loved the artwork. This whole storyline kind of reminded me of Umbrella Academy and Stranger Things. It was just very spooky, definitely gory, but I still kept turning the pages and I want to know what's going to happen next. And I've already read the second one and I've ordered the third one, and I'm captivated by this series, and which is different because I don't normally read horror, but it's so good. All right, Good Girl and Bad Blood. That's the second book in this series, and Pip is done solving mysteries. She doesn't want to solve mysteries anymore, and she doesn't want to be the detective anymore. But her friend's brother, Daniel, goes missing, and the police don't consider him a high suspect, like high missing person. So they're not going to do anything. And because it's her friend, she decides she has no choice. She uses the leverage of her podcast to get help, to figure out Daniel's last moves, through social media. And then from there, she's just led down this strange road of catfishing people with mysterious backgrounds, hidden secrets, and people not being who they say they are. And Pip is just a great character, very headstrong in a positive way, just a smart young woman, and I really loved how the story unfolded. So the quotes I put: I think we all have to decide what good and bad and right and wrong mean to us, not what we're told to accept. And then the second one was: good and bad didn't matter here. There were only winners, and he only won if she let him. That was justice. So those are really great quotes for that book. There's tons more quotes I could have picked, and there's also a third book in this series, I believe. And so I'm excited to get that book next and read it, because I found this second book really engaging. Maybe not as great as the first one, but I still really enjoyed it. I am highlighting a bunch of phrases with my gray marker and decide to use it on the left-hand side as well. And I have loved putting together these pages, despite the little bit of bumps in the designing of these pages, but it still was a lot of fun. I just can't get enough of this project, and I hope you have enjoyed another Reading Favorites video. I would love a thumbs up or a subscribe if you're new to my channel. All right, have a great day. Bye.